It looks like Jen Rosati and Dawn Staley and all those folks that Cheryl Reeve, who had a hand in Caitlin Clark not making Team USA last year in the Olympics, the actual committee, looks like they may be gone.
What do you get when the biggest name in women's basketball gets left off the Olympic squad? Apparently, it causes chaos. Honestly, I'd rather watch paint dry than deal with this nonsense.
I'd rather watch paint dry. I'd rather watch dirt just be moved around. Because Caitlin Clark's not on the team. If she's there, it's appointment TV. You people, whoever did this, honestly, hey, take your brain, put it in a museum, and study it for how dumb you are.
Call it karma or just overdue change. USA Basketball has scrapped its whole selection system after leaving Caitlin Clark off the Olympic team. And yes, people are losing their jobs. Now, Sue Bird's in charge, and suddenly, the path to loss. Angeles 2028 looks totally different for the Indiana Fever's star guard. No one saw this fallout coming. So what really went down with Cheryl Reeve and the Olympic Committee? If you're hyped to see Clark at the Olympics, type CC 2028. Below, let's get into it.
It used to be a committee. Dawn Staley, Jennifer Rizzuti, and all of the hooligans associated in picking the USA basketball team. All of the hooligans, Cheryl Reeves included, so full of themselves, so bound by tribalism that they just couldn't look past their own nose. And at the end of the day, look at them now. Look at them now. The same fate as Cheryl Swoops calling those Dallas Wings games. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
The Olympic Committee claimed they had solid reasons for cutting Caitlin Clark, or at least that's the story they gave us. Jen Rosati, who leads the selection group, said the choice was based strictly on basketball reasons. Experience counted. Playing overseas counted. Popularity or star status didn't matter, according to them.
Remember during the Olympics, a person from either South Korea or Japan, holding up the Caitlin Clark sign? Team USA looked at that gentleman and said, $, $, $. These people over there in Japan, these people over there in South Korea, they're not paying for Team USA to come and watch you, but they'll pay for Caitlin Clark. In fact, they are so strong about voicing that they'll pay for Caitlin Clark, they'll come to the Olympic game holding a sign that says, you guys remember.
Wait, seriously? You're saying they passed over the most exciting player in the women's game? The same player who smashed nearly every NCAA scoring record and changed the game in under a year? It's hard to believe. And this isn't just about fame. Clark has real international experience. She played with Team USA at the FIBA U19 tourney, won 2 golds, and even earned MVP honors.
Decision on his part. Caitlin Clark is PR. That's where, how can they leave her? Once again, everybody's, out together. They don't want to grow the game.
Let's talk about the real impact. When Clark joined the WNBA, ticket prices shot up every time the Fever were in town. Teams that struggled to fill seats suddenly saw sellouts. Her debut against the Connecticut Sun pulled more viewers than NBA playoff games that weekend. Her jersey, best-selling rookie gear ever in the WNBA. And don't forget, she broke 62 records in her first season alone.
We got to remember, the National Basketball Association, the NBA, the commissioner, Adam Silver, he came right out and said, I wouldn't have left Caitlin Clark off that team. And he even said, and several others said, women's basketball really dropped the ball on an opportunity to grow the women's game by leaving Caitlin Clark off that team.
This wasn't just some small boost. Clark sparked a massive shift in how people watched women's basketball. Yet somehow the Olympic Committee decided she didn't matter enough to make the team. The backlash came fast and loud. Experts weren't fooled by the weak excuses. Stephen A. Smith ripped the decision, saying it held back the sport at a critical time. Lisa Leslie, who won 4 Olympic golds, called it the biggest missed marketing chance in basketball history.
This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid.
You know what this whole situation really showed? The system is outdated, run by people who fear change. The committee acted like it was still 2004, back when women's basketball had to beg for attention. They didn't get it. Clark wasn't just a great player. She was a once-in-a-lifetime shot to lift the sport globally. The Olympics are when new fans discover sports they don't usually watch, and the one player who could have drawn them in was left at home.
Hey, dummies. For the first time, like in the history of basketball, you have arguably a player who is the most popular player in the world. Like, you could argue right now, Caitlin Clark is the most talked about, discussed, most popular, most puts asses in the seats, single basketball player in the world. You could argue that. Yeah, you could say maybe LeBron, Luka, whatever you want, but you can argue it. And you leave her off the Olympics team, it's not only a showcase for her, it's for the sport and the other WNBA players who are on this team. How dumb, how brain dead, how idiotic do the people running this thing have to be?
This wasn't only about Clark missing out. It was women's basketball losing a golden chance. The committee stuck to experience over star appeal, and it blew up in their faces. The anger was too strong to ignore, the blunder too big to explain away. But the worst part? Leaving Clark off the roster was just the tip of the iceberg. Behind closed doors, USA Basketball's whole system was breaking down. This wasn't one simple mistake. It was the result of years of poor decisions ready to collapse.
I think if Caitlin Clark would have played, it would have been the biggest ratings of the Olympic Games last year. All right. And yeah, I don't know what it could have done to women's basketball.
Cheryl Reeve wants everyone to think she had no say in Clark being left off the Olympic team. She's gone on record saying she had zero control over the picks and even claimed she took the heat for USA Basketball. Nice try, coach. But the facts say something totally different.
But as a coach of the home team, there's going to be a lot of people cheering for that other side.
I'll get two shits.
How about one?
Not even one shit.
Any second guessing here about not having Clark on the Olympic team?
From me? No.
Reeve may not have had the only vote, but her influence on the picks was crystal clear. Jen Rosati, the committee head, admitted the team was built to match Reeve's coaching style. So when Reeve says she had no say, what she really means is she didn't want to take the blame when fans demanded answers for why the most exciting player in the league was left out.
Along with nearly losing the gold medal game to France, the U.S. women's team was caught up in controversy leading up to the Olympics because Caitlin Clark was not on the team. The argument not to take Clark, a rising global megastar in the sport, was in part because she had not participated in many Team USA offseason functions, and also because there were women with more national team experience who had earned the right to play at the Olympics.
Just look at the final roster. It was full of older players who fit Reeve's style, ones who focus on defense more than scoring. The committee's picks lined up perfectly with how Reeve runs the Minnesota Lynx. That slow defensive system nearly cost Team USA their gold medal in the end.
She is good enough to be on the team. Based on how Caitlin Clark was playing at the time, she was worthy of being on this team. This is Caitlin Clark up against Jewel Lloyd, Diana Taurasi, and Kelsey Plum. Yeah. It's tough when you see it in front of you, right? Chelsea Gray's not even on this graph. Why isn't Chelsea Gray on this graph, you may ask? Great question. Chelsea Gray started the beginning of the season injured.
Remember that nail-biter against France? Team USA barely hung on, winning just 67-66 in a game they should have controlled. All through the tournament, they had trouble scoring when it mattered. The ball stuck, and they lacked long-range shooters. When defenders crowded Aja Wilson or Brianna Stewart down low, there wasn't enough help. That's exactly when a player like Clark could have made a huge difference. The team often looked slow and predictable, missing the spark and flair that Clark brings.
Caitlin Clark, based on skill, based on how she was performing, deserved to be on that team. Based on Chelsea Gray coming off hobbled from injury, you don't even know the status of her as a player. Caitlin Clark should have been on that team. She was easily one of the best players from Jump Street. Her struggling, oh my God, she's struggling with 16 points, 6 assists, and 5.5 rebounds. Oh my God, the struggle. She's shooting 39%. Yeah, Jewel Lloyd always shoots like trash. Kelsey, you got... Come on, guys.
The strongest proof against Reeve's judgment came from Clark herself. Before the Olympic snub, she was averaging 15.6 points and 6.3 assists. After getting left out, those numbers jumped to nearly 23 points and 9.5 assists. She even set a WNBA rookie record with 19 assists in one game. Clark didn't just improve, she went off, making the committee look silly for saying she wasn't ready.
Take a look at this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
Reeve's way of handling things only made it worse. When a reporter asked her about Clark's Olympic future after a game, Reeve snapped, "Why the hell would I answer a national team question?" Funny thing, she was wearing her Minnesota Lynx gear while saying it. It was like she wanted to separate herself from Team USA when things got tough. This wasn't just one bad call. It was proof that leadership refused to adjust to the new era. Sure, Team USA got the gold, but they came close to blowing it.
There's so much conversation about women's basketball. The run you at South Carolina had to the national championship, a perfect season. Obviously, Caitlin Clark. And there was so much conversation on, should Caitlin be on the U.S. women's national team? You were part of the selection group. Mm-hmm. Give me your read on that now that we've got a little bit of time and we can get into some clear air to see what happens.
Right. When, as a committee member, you're charged with putting together best team of players, the best talent. Caitlin is just a rookie in the WNBA. Wasn't playing bad, but wasn't playing like she's playing now. If we had to do it all over again, the way that she's playing, she would be in really high consideration of making the team.
Reeve's odd roster choices, the team's shaky performance, and her harsh reaction to fair criticism created a perfect storm. Something had to change. USA Basketball couldn't keep running a system that cared more about old school habits than talent or fan appeal.
She is playing head and shoulders above a lot of people, shooting the ball extremely well. I mean, she is an elite passer.
If we were playing how she's playing now, she would be in high consideration. They can't even admit to themselves. If she was playing how she's playing now, yeah, she would definitely be on the team. We could have had our cake and eat it too. We got Kobe and LeBron on the same team. We did.
The Clark situation didn't just show problems with how players were picked. It uncovered deep issues in how USA Basketball built its whole team. The fallout wasn't about swapping one coach or adding a star. It forced everyone to rethink what Olympic basketball should look like from the ground up.
Sue Bird is expected to be announced as the managing director for the USA women's national team for the 2028 Olympic cycle. She will take on what is known as the Grant Hill role, selecting player rosters and coaching staff. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with the WNBA or the women's side of Team USA, and Grant Hill's a little bit new in this role, Jerry Colangelo role. Jerry Colangelo, the godfather of Team USA basketball from 2005 to 2021, picking, I want him, I want him, I want him, I want him.
USA Basketball just made a major move that shook up the whole women's Olympic program. Sue Bird, 5-time Olympic gold winner, 4-time WNBA champ, and true icon, is now running the women's national team. This isn't just a new leader, it's a total reset on how future Olympic squads will be formed.
USA Basketball will announce a major shift in the structuring on Thursday when Sue Bird is announced as the managing director for the USA Women's National Team 2028 cycle. Her hiring is a departure from a long-standing structure of using a committee to select players and coaches for national team rosters, and comes on the heels of a very close call for the USA women in Paris.
The news, first shared by The Athletic and backed up by several outlets, marks a major shift in control. Bird won't be part of some quiet committee giving input. She'll have full authority over both picking players and choosing coaches. Sound familiar? It should. This is just like how the men's team has operated since Grant Hill took charge in 2021.
As financial opportunities for women grow in the sport and in marketing, USA Basketball wanted to make sure it was doing everything possible to ensure the allure of playing major international events remained strong, and a phone call from Bird is going to go a long way with players, one source close to the USA program said.
Think about what this changes. No more confusing behind-the-scenes choices. No more coaches pretending they got blamed for calls they didn't make. The final say now belongs to Bird. If she wants Caitlin Clark on the team, then Clark's on. It. End of story. Bird's not just smart about basketball, she's also sharp with promotion. She knows what sells tickets. She once said, "With Caitlin's long threes, I always joked. Finally, we have our version of a dunker." She also pointed out that Clark woke people up who used to ignore women's hoops.
Sue Bird is taking over as managing director of USA Basketball. And this is done in a model of the men's way of doing it. Okay? She will have the say over who makes this team.
That's more than just a compliment. It shows Bird sees Clark as a marketing force. Bird gets it. While skill matters, having star power counts too. The Olympics aren't only about winning medals. They're about showing off the sport to millions of new eyes who might fall in love with it.
But Sue Bird's been a vocal supporter of Caitlin Clark. The fact is, while everybody was coming down on Caitlin Clark last year, so many, she was one that was trying to prop her up and was an advocate for Caitlin. I do not think Caitlin Clark will not make that team next time. I can tell you that.
Bird also has a level of trust with today's players that no one else brings. She's played with or against almost every big name in the league. She knows who lifts their teammates, who fits well together, and who fades in big moments. That knowledge is priceless when picking an Olympic squad. The timing of her hiring isn't random. USA Basketball saw how the Clark drama hurt their image. They watched a gold medal game that was way too close. They realized the old way wasn't working anymore, especially now that women's basketball is more popular than ever.
Bird's new role is a major change for USA Basketball. Previously, the women's team and coaching staff was named by committee. Now, that is Sue Bird's job. Wow.
Putting Bird in charge shows USA Basketball is breaking away from old rules and politics. It means they're finally ready to choose players based on both skill and star quality. No more outdated thinking, no more secret committee talks. Just real basketball choices made by someone who knows the game and how to grow it. So what does all this mean for Caitlin Clark? Her Olympic path just got a whole lot clearer, and her comeback story is only getting started.
I believe it's going to be the LA Games. Came out and literally said, I believe it was them that said they wouldn't have left her off the team either. They were getting criticized by not just fans, but people involved in basketball at a very high level that were outside of the WNBA. So that tells you how much sort of animosity you had from inside the WNBA and in those circles, and some parts of college basketball too, versus people from an outside view involved with basketball from a business level.
Most athletes who get snubbed either rant online or give bitter interviews. Not Caitlin Clark. When the Olympic Committee left her off, she didn't complain. She just got better. No one who knows her was shocked. Her high school coach, Kristen Meyer, has seen this before. Meyer said Clark always takes her biggest setbacks and turns them into fuel. When she missed the USA U17 team back in 2018, Clark didn't mope. She went to work. Meyer put it best. When setbacks hit, you either break down or dig deeper.
Bird's appointment precedes a potentially young iteration of the women's national team marked by new prospects, including Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers, none of whom have been selected for Team Paris. There are questions regarding a number of veterans returning, including guard Chelsea Gray and center Brittany Griner. We got to remember that old guard, and I think it was fraudulent as hell.
The same thing happened after Iowa's early exit in the NCAA tournament. Each time she falls short, Clark uses it to level up. It's almost like she needs those moments to reach the next gear. The Olympic snub might be her biggest spark yet. By the time the 2028 games come around, Clark will be 26 and right in her athletic prime. That's the perfect mix of sharp mind and peak body.
That old guard put Diana Taurasi last year on that team so she could win, what was it, a sixth or seventh gold medal, maybe a sixth. But because they allowed that to happen and they did not bring Caitlin Clark on that team, it ensured that Caitlin Clark will never be able to break Diana Taurasi's record because she would just have to play way too long now.
The Indiana Fever is already building the team around her, adding players that match her unique style. Each year, Clark will sharpen her game as she grows into the pros. By 2028, she could be a smarter scorer, a sharper passer, and a stronger defender. And the LA Olympics offer the perfect launch pad: Hollywood lights, celebrity fans, and major TV time. For someone with Clark's spotlight, it's a golden chance. USA Basketball would be out of their minds not to put her center stage in the heart of showbiz.
Should they have been on Team USA?
I would have put Caitlin Clark on Team USA, absolutely. For someone as young as Caitlin Clark is going to benefit America for years and years and years and years. So, yeah, I would have put her absolutely on Team USA.
Picture this: Clark sharing the floor with Angel Reese and other former rivals now wearing the same jersey. Their past battles would create exciting new stories for fans. These built-in dramas would pull in casual viewers like never before. And with Sue Bird in charge, Clark won't just join the team. She'll likely be its centerpiece. Bird knows how to balance talent and stardom. She understands Clark offers more than just stats. She brings global attention. What started as a huge Olympic snub might now be the beginning of something far greater, instead of being one of many. In 2024, Clark could become the face of Team USA for the next generation. Sometimes rejection leads to the best comeback.
I think we all expect Caitlin Clark to make it. I'm sure the NBA expects Caitlin Clark to make it. When the commissioner of the league, that is really the boss of Kathy Engelbert, and he is, let's not get confused, when he comes out and says it was a great miss for women's basketball to have left Caitlin Clark off the team, you better make sure you get her on the team.
Big mistakes sometimes lead to even bigger wins. What began as a major snub completely changed USA basketball. The old setup is gone, replaced by Sue Bird's bold new direction. Bird clearly sees Clark's rare talent, and that likely means she won't just be on the 2028 team, she'll be a major piece of it. The wait until LA might feel long for Fever fans, but it's setting up a perfect comeback arc. By 2028, nobody will be talking about the snub. They'll be watching Clark lead the US to gold. If you're pumped to see her in the Olympics, drop a CC 2028 below. Like, subscribe, and turn on alerts so you don't miss anything. Tap the video on screen, and we'll catch you in the next one.